Welcome back to the webcast for the ViaSat-3 America's mission. So far in the mission, we had an on-time liftoff, we've had 3 successful burns of our second stage, and we're coming up on the deployment of the ViaSat-3 spacecraft. The ViaSat payload deploying shortly is now the largest all-electric satellite ever to be launched. And deployment is coming up in just around 40 seconds or so. You can see in the telemetry in the bottom right corner of the screen, we are now very high above the surface of the Earth, about 34,000 kilometers.
ViaSat-3, separation confirmed.
And there you saw and heard the confirmation of successful deployment of ViaSat-3 from our second stage.
We've had 3 successful burns of our second stage and successful deployment of the ViaSat-3 payload, and we're now coming up on the deployment of the Gravity Space 1 payload. Gravity Space 1 is a 16U CubeSat and the first commercial CubeSat in geosynchronous orbit. It will be used for Internet of Things, a rendezvous and docking experiment, and orbital slot reservations. And that deployment is coming up here in just about 15 seconds or so. What you're seeing on your screen is a view from the second stage looking forward. So we should be able to see the payload deploy here shortly.
Gravity space separation confirmed.
And there it was. You just saw the Gravity Space 1 spacecraft drift away from Falcon 9's second stage. So next up will be the final milestone of today's mission, the deployment of Astronis' first micro-geo satellite, which is scheduled for the T+4 hour and 46-minute mark. We'll see you back here in about 6 minutes.
Welcome back once again to our coverage of the ViaSat-3 America's mission. We've had a nominal mission so far, and we're coming up on the last milestone for today's mission, which is the deployment of Astronis' first micro-geo satellite. In partnership with Astronis' Alaska customer, Pacific Dataport, their first micro-geo satellite is going to cover Alaska, and it will be the first satellite ever dedicated to a single U.S. state. In addition to this payload, Astronis is launching 4 additional satellites later this year with SpaceX on a dedicated Falcon 9 mission, so stay tuned for that. Deployment should be coming up here in just about 30 seconds or so.
Astronis separation confirmed.
And there you saw and heard confirmation of successful deployment of the micro-geo payload from our second stage. With confirmation of successful deployment of our last payload on board the second stage, that will wrap up our coverage for the ViaSat-3 America's mission.